Welcome to day 244 of TFIF 365. And today is just going to be a bit of a ramble because there are just some things that are on my mind. So I just had a conversation with one of my daughters, and it was interesting because she is 37 or 38, does not vote often, and was telling me how excited her friend group is to vote for the first time for many of them. Or again, like I said, she doesn't even vote regularly. She doesn't even know if her registration is valid. So I told her to go check that. And I'm saying that because I saw recently that Black women's voter registration, were up 173%. And this is what the fear is. So this is why DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, is seen as such a threat to folks who benefit from the unearned privileges of systems, institutions, and policies that are designed to privilege them at the expense of many. This is what happens when the mediocre and the unremarkable are faced with excellence. They run. And then they get dangerous, because what you're going to see coming now is going to be a level of racism and sexism, and it's called, I'm going to say it wrong, misogynoir. So if you don't know what misogynoir is, it is the intersection of racism and sexism. And this is why white women get to benefit from racism and Black men get to benefit from sexism, right? Black women sit uniquely at the intersections of both. So we have a very unique lived experience. And to see these young women who've never saw a need to vote, saw a value in voting, see themselves and get so excited about voting is what it means to move forward supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free. Now, I'm the first person to tell you, I am not seeking any politician to save me. I don't believe that systems, institutions, and policies that are designed to privilege the few at the expense of the many fundamentally change by putting in any politician, because whatever they're doing, they're still working with the same systems, institutions, and policies designed to privilege the few at the expense of the many. I don't want to even deal with any of that. I want to, man, it's so humid out here. My glasses are starting to fog up and I'm sweating. Woo! But I don't even want to have those conversations, because you can't reform something that is fundamentally rooted in white supremacy and anti-Blackness. Supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free. Everything about this futures-free project that I'm leading is about creating something different, creating something that is rooted in the future that we say we want, right? And so I am not of any illusion that any politician, because the nature of being a politician requires you to negotiate in ways that do not fundamentally change the systems, institutions, and policies designed to privilege the few at the expense of the many. And would be, I don't see any fundamental politician, I don't care what spectrum, really focus on. They're trying to reform the thing that can't be reformed, because it at its root is toxic, can't be reformed. So I'm not a person who believes in politicians as my savior. That's why I'm not a stan. But what I do see is engagement. It is an energetic thing that I'm talking about. I see an energy level, and nothing beats energy. Nothing overcomes energy. And I'm seeing this. This is the moments that I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for, first of all, for good white folks to get in enough pain and to be targeted and harmed in ways that they understand that this is their fight too. You're not developing a consistent, demonstrated anti-racist practice for me. You're doing it because white supremacy and anti-Blackness don't allow you to be your full self. And we're seeing that in Tim Walz. We're seeing that in Doug Abernoff. I knew I was going to screw that name up. It's in my head. I can see it, but coming out, there's a, but you're seeing, they are models. And this is why I do this. They are modeling what it looks like to be men who are who can be masculine and sensitive and caring and compassionate and humble and extend grace and loving and joyful. Masculinity doesn't have to be toxic and painful and harmful and anger and deception and manipulation and coercion and exploitation. It doesn't have to be that. And so they are modeling the choices you made. And again, once you see it, then you're like, oh, I can be that. So I'm looking forward to seeing so many mediocre, unremarkable white dudes show up and realize that they're mediocre and unremarkable because the systems, institutions, and policies that exist that privilege them at the expense of the many, which require them to remain mediocre and unremarkable. Because when they lean into that, then they are comfortable with maintaining the status quo. When they step outside of that and realize, oh, I am not living up to my full potential. In fact, white supremacy and anti-blackness has stripped me of my humanity, and nothing has the right to do that. Then they will seek supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free, not for me, but for you, right? And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Talking to her, I just was so inspired. Again, not because of any particular candidate, but just that she now sees, her friend group now sees themselves as welcome, as a part of. They're not trespassing, because that's why I say I've never experienced a democracy. Not when at any moment any white person can challenge my identity. They can define it. That's why I don't believe fair. Who gets to define fair? And that's the people in power. Who gets to define my blackness? Is the systems, institutions, and policies designed to privilege the few at the expense of the many. And we're not doing that anymore. I get to define my blackness. We get to define our blackness. And so that's what I just wanted to talk about, is that if you feel that this is different, this is not 2008 all over again. This is something way bigger. This is something much deeper. This is tapping a vein that needed to be open. And that is more people seeing themselves in the coalition of the wounded, but seeing themselves not just a part of the coalition of the wounded, but seeing a pathway to healing. So until tomorrow, peace. Become a sustaining sponsor at kimcreighton.com/support-the-work and help make this work happen.